The American West, the Boise National Forest to be specific, in central Idaho. Over 2.5 million acres of forests, grasslands, mountains, rivers, and lakes, home to a rich diversity of flora and fauna, each species designed for its own distinct ecological role. Over 100 species of birds inhabit the lush landscapes surrounding the pristine waters of Warm Lake, a mammoth among the natural lakes of the Salmon River Mountains. Among the many species of wildlife found here are a few underappreciated mammals that deserve a little more attention. They may not be the biggest, fastest, or strongest, but whatever they lack, they make up for in their adorableness. A stroll through the forest is an excellent way to experience the calmness of nature. Well, unless you wander into a certain someone's territory. The American red squirrel, a standoffish rodent that doesn't appreciate intruders, will not be shy in letting everyone know about it. These arboreal rodents, classified as tree squirrels, spend much of their time running from branch to branch gathering pine cones. Each cone is made up of many scales, with a pair of pine seeds at the base of each one. The Lord designed pine cones with the incredible ability to open up in drier conditions and stay closed when exposed to moisture due to specialized cell layers in each scale. This feature comes in handy for the red squirrel as they store the sealed cones for use during the winter, making hibernation unnecessary, even with snow on the ground. While foraging during the warmer months, they'll sometimes toss cones to the ground and descend later to systematically peel back each scale, revealing its two energy-packed seeds. Below the treetops, they may encounter another animal that prefers to keep its paws firmly on or under the ground. Found at high elevations, the Columbian ground squirrel prefers making its home in grassy, open areas and is not often found in dense forest or rocky habitat. These ground squirrels are expert diggers and create a system of burrows for their colony. Unlike the American red squirrel, Columbians must accumulate a large amount of fat during the summer in order to survive their long hibernation. There's no shortage of options to pack on the ounces, as most any edible seed, plant, or root is on the menu. While searching for food above ground, they must constantly be on the alert. Swainson's hawks, one of a squirrel's many natural predators, keep a sharp eye out for their next meal. The squirrels don't make themselves easy targets, however, as they flee to their burrow at the first sign of danger. With the arrival of fall and winter, the ground squirrels don't have to worry about predators since they are safely underground, spending up to 9 months of the year hibernating in a special room called a hibernaculum. In order to prevent fatally low temperatures, the ground squirrels construct the hibernaculum up to 26 inches below the surface and furnish it with grasses for a cozy mattress. Even so, the squirrel's body temperature descends to around 40 degrees Fahrenheit, slowing its heart rate to less than 5 beats per minute. With the return of warmer weather, a different face emerges earlier than their Columbian cousins. Named after the rusty coloration on their head and upper shoulders, golden-mantled ground squirrels also spend their winters in carefully dug tunnels. Solitary in nature, they dig individual burrows up to 100 feet long, with multiple entrances and exits in case of emergency. Waking up before most food sources are available makes planning ahead essential. By caching food before turning in for the long, cold months, they have a ready supply on hand in the spring. This stockpile tides them over until they can get back to foraging for whatever they can find for their omnivorous diet. While they can ordinarily find everything they need in their natural environment, such as seeds, fungi, and animal proteins like insects, they won't turn down an even easier food source: trash cans. However, just because both they and Columbian ground squirrels can get in the can, doesn't always mean they can get back out. At least, not without a little help. As stewards of God's creation, we need to ensure that animals don't have an unhealthy dependence on us or our trash. By properly securing garbage cans and eliminating litter, we can make sure wildlife spends more time foraging for their natural diet and less time nibbling on beef jerky. Our last but certainly not least resident of the Idaho mountains has a similar diet and even coloration, but has the distinction of being the tiniest chipmunk on the planet. Least chipmunks don't let their size slow them down. Using their nimble tails for balance, they are constantly climbing and scurrying on the hunt for food throughout the coniferous forests of northwestern North America. The industrious chipmunks are efficient foragers. When they find a good food source, such as seeds, berries, and other plant products like tree sap, they maximize their yield per trip by stuffing their cheeks full before returning to their burrow. After they've gleaned all the available food from a bush, they mark it so they don't waste time and energy returning to a depleted food source. Gathering plenty of food is extremely important, since the chipmunks don't hibernate like their ground squirrel cousins. Instead, they enter their underground burrow in the winter and go into a lethargic state known as torpor, which is merely the slowing down of their normal body functions. They wake up frequently throughout the winter to munch on their stockpile, giving them the energy to stay warm and survive the harsh Idaho winter. Although life isn't always easy as a little rodent in a big world, the Lord has provided just what each one needs to survive and thrive in their environment. Whether it's chattering from the treetops to defend their territory, digging sprawling burrows, having a diverse diet, or using efficient foraging methods, each species carries out what the Creator designed them to do in their small yet essential part of the American West.